Mike Silver, who joins us in 23 minutes, tweeted yesterday, so that Jeff Wilson trade is looking regrettable.
Did he sniff?
I think he did. He did a Twitter sniff. Yeah, he did. I don't know. Guru has definitely been rubbing off on me. That's 2 days in a row since I returned from the yeah. Anyway,
next thing you know, you'll be doing the or the skirt.
No, that's my dog. My dog is a panter. Oh my gosh.
Penny.
By the way, is it dog people? Anything to be concerned about? She is as healthy. Knock on wood.
Yeah, Penny.
She is as healthy as can be. And she's awesome and all of that stuff. But, man, when we go to the park and we get a good run in, she pants for like 25 minutes. She'll be in the car just right on your right shoulder. Like, and you're just like.
As you drive home, she's like, going right shoulder?
Yeah, Chica, back down. You're all up in my space over here.
Do you have a window open so she could like pant out the window?
Sometimes, certainly if I make a stop, if I got to go, to whatever, gas station or whatnot. But yeah, like I got the air on in there. She's
fine. Isn't that how dogs sweat? By panting?
I just know that I've been around other dogs and they're not. Like, yeah, a little bit after you run, but right. I mean, 20 minits, like, that's like, my gosh, calm down back there.
She's going too hard.
Yeah, so.
Are you at altitude?
No, we are, good old Bay Area flat ground, so I'm not a panter. That's my dog.
Okay.
But anyway, Jeff Wilson trade, regrettable? Would you put that label on it?
Not yet, but you are one tweaked hammy or one pulled groin away from it being regrettable, and we don't know if Jordan Mason can come in and actually carry the load, quote unquote. Ty Davis-Price hasn't really carried the ball at all this year. What does he have, 4 carries? Or
yeah, I can look that up. Healthy and active.
Healthy and inactive. Healthy and not really carrying the ball. So now you look at your running backs, and you've got Eli Mitchell, who's out for 6 to 8. I saw the report yesterday. We'll get to do a Doc Pandia tomorrow or Dr. Brian Feely. I'm not sure which one is in. But
16, by the way. 16 carries for TDP this year.
Yeah, and it feels like
averaging 2.3 yards a carry.
If he's going to be a guy who can carry the ball, this would be a time where he would be up and active and maybe he gets a chance, because otherwise right now you've got Christian McCaffrey, you've got Jordan Mason, and you've got Deebo Samuel. That's it.
Yeah. So I like the way you answer it, because to me it's a ... And there even was a ... in Silver's tweet. He said ... regrettable.
Yeah.
And I was like ... wait and see.
That's where you put the sniff in for the ...
Because if I'm going to try to get into the mind of Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, let's think this through. Because the easy snap react is, dude, you traded Jeff Wilson when Elijah Mitchell was coming back from a major injury, and the other running back you're relying on is Christian Flippin McCaffrey. Ask any fantasy player the last 2 years if maybe he ever gets hurt. So I know the immediate reaction is, y'all should have known that he was going to get hurt. So I'm sure they're not stupid. They're like, yeah, we may need more than these 2 running backs the rest of the way. Okay, let's play that scenario out. They're doing a few things here. Jeff Wilson's about to be a free agent. He's probably going to leave. They would like to replenish some draft capital. They've used a lot of draft picks. So those are the 2 positives. But you lose an experienced back and you lose your depth. So they play that on their mind. All right, if we trade Jeff, what happens if Elijah comes back and it's not right, or he gets hurt again? What happens if Christian McCaffrey gets hurt? Are we prepared for that? The answer to me is, let's wait and see what Jordan Mason and potentially Davis-Price do if they end up getting some run. Mason has looked good now. Again, very limited work. He actually has fewer carries than Ty Davis-Price. He's only got 10 this year, but he's ripped off 46 yards, 4.6 a carry in very, very small action. but 4.6 a carry is good. That's a good number. That is a higher number than Christian McCaffrey is averaging, for example, this year. So if Jordan Mason can do the job, who cares? Who cares? Let's stop acting like Jeff Wilson's a star. He's not. He's experienced. He knows the system. Solid player.
Yeah.
But if you get rid of a free agent to be, get a little draft capital, and rely on some young guys, I'm cool with it unless Mason goes out there and stinks. If Mason goes out there and misses a bunch of blocks and somebody crushes Jimmy Garoppolo and he gets hurt, now we're in a space where we can be ... regrettable.
And I also think, and this maybe is going to be something that happens today or tomorrow, you still have Tevin Coleman on your practice squad. So in terms of, what the team thinks about Jordan Mason and Ty Davis-Price and the fact that Christian McCaffrey is a little bit banged up, if you get into practice this week, Tuesday, today, Wednesday, and you start to move closer to Sunday's game, if you feel like you don't have enough, you do have Tevin Coleman that you can elevate again. So I'm not as concerned about Jeff Wilson Jr. yet, but we are one injury away from it being a real thing because I don't want to have Jordan Mason and TDP as my only two ball carriers going forward into a real big game in December or January.
I also think the 49ers value this, and you can criticize it because I don't think Jeff Wilson was going to make waves in the locker room, but I think the 49ers, based on what I've seen in this particular locker room, this era, they really value their guys all being on the same page. They really do. Like, I'm uncomfortable right now seeing some of the comments from Jimmy Ward. Jimmy Ward went public a couple of times now. He did again today. He went public with, man, it's been really hard to move to nickel corner. Like, he made the comments today, like, I'm in the NFL top 100 as a safety. That means the rest of the world outside of this building are giving me recognition. But inside the building, I get replaced by Tashawn Gibson. I'm in the NFL top 100. Like, think about that. That's not, it's just a ranking list, but by the same token, there's nobody else in the NFL top 100 that loses their gig when they're healthy. All of a sudden, he becomes a nickel corner in a contract year. Now, he also stated, I understand that's what this team needs from me right now, and so I'm willing to do it, and he's doing it well. But the 49ers value everybody being on the same page. And Jeff Wilson was not going to be on the same page when Christian McCaffrey was acquired.
And Jimmy Ward is maybe not on the same page, but at the same time, he understands in a contract a year that this can help his value if he goes out and he balls out. Because if you look at that roster and you don't have anybody else who can play nickel corner as well as Jimmy Ward can play the nickel corner. And by the way, Jimmy Ward, this team has stood by you on about 5 different occasions when you had injuries.
No doubt.
So it's, and I know he's 30, 31 years old, and he's looking at probably his last contract coming up, and he doesn't want to play nickel corner because he knows he's a better safety than he is a corner. But in this spot, Mark, and he knows it, this defense is so nasty. Tashawn Gibson can come in and play safety better than anybody else can come in and play nickel corner.
No doubt. And I think he gets that, by the way. I don't want to paint the picture that Jimmy Ward hates Kyle Shanahan or something like that.
Yeah.
I think he gets it. I think it's disappointing. I don't think it's where he wants to be.
Right.
It's a trickle down from Mosley getting hurt.
Exactly.
And so your nickel corner has to move over and just play corner. And they don't have a replacement. And so they got Jimmy Ward. And in some ways, there's a hidden compliment in there, which is that, dude, you're incredibly versatile. We can move you around. You're a smart football player. You're exactly right. He's 31 years old. He's been around this system. He gets it. There's not a lot of people who can do that. But Jimmy is also looking at this in 2 different ways, which is, hey, not only am I NFL top 100, I'm in a contract year. And a safety gets paid a hell of a lot more than a nickel corner. And so it, I'm sure, feels to him like his money is getting messed with what's taking place. Again, you understand it. You're not going to like it, though. And so the 49ers feel very, very uncomfortable with that stuff. And so I wonder if that was somewhat of a motivating factor to get Jeff Wilson out of the building.
Maybe. And, I think Jeff Wilson sees the situation, and the team does too, where, okay, we're going to acquire Christian McCaffrey. So now we go McCaffrey, Eli Mitchell, Jeff Wilson Jr., you're the third stringer, and we really only use 2 running backs for the most part. We have, and you saw it when Eli Mitchell was hurt for that brief moment, McCaffrey got all the carries, and then when it came time for a closer, you brought in Eli Mitchell between the tackles. McCaffrey, much more versatile. He can run routes out of the slot. You can split him out wide. He's a totally different back. Eli Mitchell much more of a between the tackles guy, and that's where you look now at this situation, and it could work short term because Jordan Mason is a big, bruising, physical back, so he can come in and take the Eli Mitchell role of, mostly between the tackles, not a big-time speed guy to the outside. You still have McCaffrey, and you've got Eli Mitchell, and I wonder if they don't elevate Tevin Coleman from the practice squad just to try to add a little bit of depth because TDP, so far, they haven't had a lot of faith. He looks closer to be in the Trey Sermon role, which sadly, than he does in the Jordan Mason role.
Stop drafting running backs.
Right?
Stop drafting running backs and then not using them. Stop drafting running backs and then...
Kyle's an addict.
Jeez.
He's addicted.
And I actually don't, I don't even believe what I'm saying. Draft who you think is, every year, no matter what has happened before, you got to go with who you think is the right pick at the right time. So I'm not telling the 49ers any rules about positions, but this is an odd truth, which is that they keep drafting running backs, and then when the draft is over, they're like, hey, yo, you get over here. We'll get this, sign this piece of paper. We'll give you a couple of bucks. Come to camp. And that hey, you guy beats out whoever they grabbed in the third or fourth round. Seems like it happens every year right now.
TDP, third-round pick, 16 carries, 37 yards. You go back to the previous year, Trey Sermon.
Third-round pick,
43 carries, $186, and he's no longer with the team. And then you go back to 2017. Joe Williams, fourth-round pick, 0 carries.
Never saw the
0 yards.
Right, not an NFL player is what you got in the fourth round. However, you grabbed Elijah Mitchell in the fifth round and then go to the UDFA list with the San Francisco 49ers, and it is Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson and now Jordan Mason and, as mentioned, Mitchell in the fifth round. Those are the guys who have actually done some things. So, listen, I don't see what they see in their workouts. I don't know what they're going to do this weekend. You're right. Tevin Coleman might get elevated, and would anybody be surprised if he's actually the number 2 along with McCaffrey this weekend? I don't think anybody would be surprised. I'm hoping that's not the case, because if that is the case, that's a referendum on Jordan Mason and TDP telling you that neither one of them knows how to pass block yet. I hope that Jordan Mason has learned a thing or two on this especially because of the type of runner he is, the body type he has. Look where it feels like the 49ers have struggled this year. Those 3rd and 1s and those 4th and 1s. Jimmy Garoppolo's over here doing RPOs for crying out loud. Give me a back who can get a yard. And doesn't it feel like Jordan Mason, even more than McCaffrey?
Yes.
Is that guy.
Inside
or can
the guards,
be that guy.
Inside the tackles for sure. And I do think Jordan Mason will be up, and Jordan Mason will get a chance to run the ball in those situations. Christian McCaffrey, I think, obviously is going to be split out and used as a receiver a lot. He'll get to run the ball as well. But if I'm Kyle Shanahan and I'm looking at my game day roster, I'm concerned about the what-if portion of the program. What if McCaffrey is over there doing calisthenics again in the second quarter? And now my only running back is Jordan Mason, and now we got to use Deebo Samuel a bunch.
But then again, if your last name's Shanahan, that's kind of what you do. What's the likely scenario? Let's say McCaffrey's over there doing lunges again, okay? And now you're playing the game, and here you are. It's the second half of the season, and you're looking at Jordan Mason and Ty Davis-Price over on the sideline. What's more likely? 49er run game comes to a halt, or a star is born, and everyone runs to their fantasy football free agent wire? What's more likely?
Right. I would say the third most likely scenario is, hey, Deebo, remember how we gave you that contract? P.S. We may not keep you next year, but in the meantime, would you mind toting the rock again? Let's pretend it's the snow in Green Bay. We're going to need you to carry it 14 times, kid.
He's not gonna,
that to me is the most
putting out there that he's leaving next year. He's not going anywhere next year.
He might be.
He might have, if
you want Jimmy back, you can't keep everyone. And I know you talk about doing, Parag Marathe doing salary cap gymnastics.
Everybody line up. Can you imagine the meeting? All right, Deebo, you sit there. Kittle, we got your seat right here. Fred Warner, we're going to need you to have a seat right there. Come on in. Have
Armstead.
A seat. Oh, Eric, right there.
Ayuk.
Trent Williams, come over here.
Everybody.
Have a seat. Here's the deal. We're restructuring all of you.
All of you.
You guys want to win? You guys remember that Super Bowl we just won? You want to stay? You want to try to do it again? You're all restructuring.
Remember that pick Jimmy threw early in the fourth quarter and how close we were? Well, darn it, we're still close, and we're bringing him back.
No, it can be done. It can be done. There's a cost. I mean, here's something else we can ask Silver about because he's on this on Twitter this morning.
I'm not getting laughed at.
You are not in control of whether or not you get laughed at, and you love being laughed at. It's your thing.